All right. So normally I don't do this, probably as you guys might have noticed, of doing patch previews, but I figure this warrants that kind of a thing because, well, it is the preseason. So let's get into it, especially considering that I hear there's some spicy shit in here. I actually haven't read the patch notes yet, so yeah, this will kind of be new for both of us if you haven't seen it as well too. So let's just check this out here. Let me go ahead and shrink this shit, I guess. Okay. Let's move that here, maybe. All right. Kind of flying the seat of my pants here. All right. So, who cares about the intro? Ooh, new items. Okay, sick. We got item changes to tank items, mage items, lethality items. Oh yeah, the new drakes. That'll be kind of cool, and a new ruin first strike. Okay. Uh, skins. No one cares about that. Um. Oh, arcane Jinx and arcane Caitlyn. That's interesting. Okay. Yep. Arcane. Don't really care. By the way, it is actually a pretty good show. But all right. So objective bounties. This is what I've been hearing about. So objective bounties are another way for losing teams to get back into the game. In addition to champion bounties, they grant extra gold rewards for taking objectives when a team is far behind and are designed to be hard to claim, but not impossible. We still want the winning team's leads to matter, so losing teams will have to capture multiple objectives in order to cash out, because a single bounty won't pay out very much. We hope that objective bounties will allow you to execute big brain strats to equalize the game rather than having to wait around to capitalize on your opponent's mistake, like most people do in video games to actually gain an advantage. Objective bounties activate only when a team is sufficiently behind, and objectives that'll pay out bounties are highlighted on the minimap for both teams. If the losing team takes an objective with an active bounty, each of its members will receive objective bounty gold. So, and here they have a little diagram showing what it looks like, which just is basically going to just be highlighting, right, the Drake or the Rift Herald or the first towers, right, the tier 1s or whatever the fuck. So I got some pretty big beefs with this shit, but let's go ahead and at least read through, some of this other part, because initially what I'm seeing here is that there are just going to be more catch-up mechanics in the game, right? Which is, there's already enough catch-up mechanics, I would say, as far as, catch-up XP. Then there is bounties, which they introduced, and now there's objective bounties that they're introducing, and it just seems like they're going more and more towards like this really casual playstyle to where, everyone gets a turn. And, well, it's bullshit. I make the equivalent, I guess, idea of Mario Kart. Mario Kart is bullshit that there's an item that allows you to shoot it, and then it's a homing tracking turtle shell that hits first place. It's fucked up. The blue turtle shell, they should never put that shit in the game. It's bullshit. Even the red turtle shell, at least like you could block it with like a banana peel, right? If you just hold it behind yourself. But with the blue turtle shell, it just goes through fucking everything and automatically hits you no matter what. It's fucked up. Like, I don't know if you guys are old enough to play the game Ridge Racer. That shit had a lot of catch-up mechanics to where the person behind would end up being able to, drive faster. They would essentially get a boost in speed just because they were behind first place. It's completely fucked up, Like, it's just like also Initial D had the same thing to where the person behind, like, there was a setting to where you could have catch-up mechanics on there. And so if you're in the arcade machines, both of you would have to, I think it was, hold the brake down as you're going into battle, in the loading screen. and that would turn the catch-up mechanic off. But it's like if the other guy didn't do that, and it was it had to be like this mutual agreement of like you both are on the arcade machine and, like you both just hold the fucking pedal down because, you want a real race. And so if the other guy didn't do that, it was just like, fuck, okay, so this is dumb. I'm just going to be the person. Fine, I'll take second place for most of the race until we get to the very end, and then I'm just going to pass you so that you can never use the catch-up mechanic, and I can. So that's initially what I see here in the beginning anyways, but let's continue. Objective bounties are calculated in the background based on 4 factors: XP lead, gold lead, dragon lead, and turret lead. When they activate, each objective available to the team that's behind gains a bounty. Bounties start at the following: split evenly amongst all 5 team members. So Baron and Elder Dragon, it's 500 gold. Drake and Rift Herald, 500 gold. By the way, the Drakes and Rift Herald gold, 500 gold, that's more than the gold that you could get back in the day. Remember when Dragon was actually worth gold instead of giving you stats? It was 250 gold, if I'm not mistaken, for each person on that team. They got 250 gold globally. And so you didn't even have to be at the Drake in order to get the gold either. You could be way the fucking top lane, doing whatever. And, your jungler takes Drake and you're just like, oh, cool, thanks, bro. Like 250 in my pocket. Sick. Now I'm going to recall and then TP back. Outer turret, 250 gold. Inner turret, 400 gold. Base turret, 400 gold. As the losing team falls further behind, these base amounts can increase up to an additional 60%. That's absurd. Like, you're giving so much gold. Like, I don't get it. The exact bounty for each reward will be visible under the losing team's objective icons in the tab menu. And as you can see, there's a little graphic and shit. Objective bounties activate 15 seconds after team falls behind the threshold and deactivates 15 seconds after they rise above it. This deactivation timer extends if the losing team remains in combat with an objective that has an active bounty. So this is like, if you win an objective fight or whatever and like you wipe the enemy team, you're still able to claim the objective for the gold or whatever. So you get rewarded. So this is pretty bullshit because immediately with these catch-up mechanics, what's going to happen, at least I'll tell you in pro play, is that if this exists in pro play, hopefully they turn it off or disable it or something because it's just way too much. But it's going to make it to where everyone is just going to play scaling comps. And so it's just going to be the people that play scaling comps, they want to be second place until the mid game to where they can then get the catch-up mechanics and then fucking skyrocket past, right? Because they're playing scaling champions. So it's like, of course they're going to lose the early game. But then once it rolls around the mid game and, it's like past 2 Drakes or whatever, they're obviously going to be down probably first turret, first Rift Herald, etc. And then there's going to be the objective bounties, and so they're going to be able to gain additional gold along with the scaling of their champions in their natural state anyways. And so it's going to prompt this team fight at like the 3rd Drake. They're going to win that team fight because of the scaling component, and then they're going to get all that injection of gold, and then they're just going to be way further ahead. So this is going to completely incentivize both wombo combo team comps in terms of, team fighting, team comps, and it's also going to encourage scaling comps. So it's a fucking no-brainer that would be the logical direction that pro play would go towards, and it's going to limit a lot of styles of how teams actually play the game itself. So it's just a completely stupid idea, and like this definitely needs to be disabled for pro play because I don't see it having any place within pro play. But just in Riot fashion, they want the game to be the same from pro play to pleb play. So obviously they're going to include this in pro play. And the fucked up thing about it then is that now both teams are probably going to try and scale, because it's just not worth it in order to beat the opponent early and then them have the scaling advantage. And then when it comes to the team fight and they get the bounties, then they're just going to be way ahead. So both teams are going to play scaling, and then it's going to come down to, an even fight. No one's really going to be ahead. So you're never really going to see like this objective bounty thing happen, probably, unless the settings are too loose. And then, you're just going to have scaling team comps, and that's going to be the strict thing that has to happen within pro play. So I really just don't see how this system is going to work just initially. It just sounds very shitty. And it sounds like what Riot wants to do is they want to put more unpredictability in terms of maybe like, viewers, if you're looking at the LCS or LEC, whatever, that you can't really determine which team is going to win, because there's always the catch-up mechanic, right? There's always the underdog portion of it. And I remember there was something smart that G-Bay, the League of Legends content creator, had said in one of his videos about this particular thing of catch-up mechanics within League of Legends, or not catch-up mechanics. He was talking about a Worlds format and how essentially the group stage allowed for underdogs to, get further on and make a run, maybe and get into playoffs. And the reason why the group's format is important rather than, a double elim or maybe a Swiss format, etc., which produce, better, more consistent results of the best teams going forward, is the fact that then there are less potential chances for upsets. And in League of Legends, the thing about, this game is the fact that usually when you're winning, that means it's exponentially winning. That means it gets exponentially harder for the other person to come back into the game because of just how the game works, right? You get more gold, and so therefore you get more items. So therefore your champions are just innately stronger. So that means that you're able to get more Drakes and more objectives, and you could see how it all snowballs out of hand, right? This is what we call the snowball. And so with that, there are very few upsets within League of Legends. And whenever there is a big upset, it's very monumental. And one of the things that can do that is the format versus, like in traditional sports, it's like really there can be upsets, especially considering that there is no exponential growth, in terms of an advantage. So League of Legends has that, difficulty of providing upsets. But with this objective bounty, now there's an injection, and it's an artificial injection of what an upset can be. And I think it's just complete bullshit. And it doesn't reward the best teams just naturally. And it's just putting in this artificial upset, and I don't like it. I don't like the idea. I don't really care how they tweak the numbers at all. I think the entire premise of the idea is just super fucking whack. So, anyways, let's continue on. Jungle changes. There are 2 new Drakes. Cool. Chemtech Drake. Chemtech Drake is all about playing on the edge, taking calculated risks, and fighting for every scrap. The Chemtech Dragon Soul encourages you to go big or go home and trade your life for high-value plays. So the buff grants up to 5% bonus damage per stack against enemies with 340 to 1020 more current health than you. Okay, so it's essentially to be able to take down tanks and stuff. That's kind of cool. It's actually a good idea for a Drake. When a team obtains the Chemtech Dragon Soul, they receive a buff that grants them a brief second life upon their next death. What? So they get a GA? Champions revive with 80% of their base health plus 50% of their bonus health and gain 75/30% melee range, decaying move speed. So that means not only is it a GA, but once you revive, you have a burst of move speed so that you can get out of the shitty situations that GA normally puts you in. What the fuck? Revive champions take 40% less damage. What? Deal 33% less damage. Okay, so your damage is nerfed, but you receive less damage. And take damage equal to an ever-increasing percent of their starting health every 0.25 seconds. Okay, so essentially it's like it's kind of like a Scion passive, it looks like. It's kind of a cool take, I suppose, but still sounds ridiculously OP. Okay. Gas. So this is when Chemtech Drake, when it changes the entire map. Gas zones emerge in 4 jungle locations that camouflage any champion within it. Champions within that zone deal up to 10% more damage to enemies who have more current health than them. Maximum damage is achieved when at 340 to 1020 less health than them. Let's see. Camouflage. Yeah, we already know what camouflage does. So, it sounds like there is going to be a disincentivized thing to have a tank jungler. It would be rather disincentivized to have a tank jungler based upon this, because if you fight someone in the enemy jungle, especially near any of these Chemtech gas zones, you're basically gonna lose automatically. But that's interesting. I don't think it's that big of a deal though, because at that stage of the game, usually the outer turrets are kind of taken. You guys really aren't fighting within those particular zones anyways, as far as like a team fight is concerned. So I don't really think that part is a very big deal, but the whole Drake itself just seems a little ridiculous. No, right? You revive with a GA, and you have increased move speed, and you take 40% less damage, and you deal 33% less damage, but you have a tick that takes away your health to where you eventually die. I don't know. It just seems a little bit OP. Yeah. Hextech Drake is all about controlling the map, flanking your foes, and trapping the enemy team for a wombo combo. The Hextech Dragon Soul grants a unique lightning that slows down enemies, allowing you to control team fights and chase down stragglers. This one is going to be the more OP one. And I say this because it's a little known secret, or rather it's a dirty dark secret that no one really wants to talk about, which is that move speed is the most important stat in League of Legends by far. So, and I would say that the second one would be ability haste or cooldown reduction. And this is why you see Riot continually having a problem trying to nerf someone like Lee Sin, because he has very high movement, which means that he will always be relevant, basically in any meta. So, the Hextech buff grants 5 ability haste. Oh, well, there we go. And 5% attack speed per stack. Dragon Soul. When a team obtains the Hextech Drake Soul, they gain a Chain Lightning slow on their next basic attack or ability that deals 25 to 75 true damage. Okay, that's pretty fucking good. Bounces to 3 additional targets and slows units hit by 45% / 35% melee range. That's what? There's more. Plus 5% per 1,000 bonus health, right? So this is the multiplication of the additional portion of the slow. Plus 1% per 100 AP, plus 3% per 100 bonus AD, for 2 seconds with an 8-second cooldown. That seems really fucking OP. Really OP. So essentially you're gonna get like a 50% slow against melee champions if you get this Drake Soul. And then not only that, I mean, you could just completely fuck over any ADC. They won't be able to escape with a 40% slowdown move speed reduction. That's insane. All right, so how it changes the Rift. Pairs of Hextech gates appear across the map, which allows champions to quickly travel from one location to its paired counterpart. Hextech gates are activated with a brief channel that can be interrupted by immobilizes or damage. Each pair of Hextech gates has a 30-second individual cooldown per champion. Interesting. And so it looks like they're based. Okay, so they're right next to the walls of your own base, where the little base gates are, and it teleports you over to let's see, for red side, it teleports you over next to like the red buff kind of bush, and the other one teleports you to wolves. Let's see, there's one behind Drake Pit that goes into red team's blue buff. That's really interesting. That'll be interesting for jungle pathing, actually. Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting. Although at that stage in the game, jungle pathing is actually less influential, right? So it really doesn't largely matter. And then you have red. So behind Baron Pit goes to blue buff for blue side. These don't seem like that big of a deal, to be honest. I kind of thought that this would be a little bit more fucky. Once I heard about like some weird teleportation devices, but they at least allow you to not go all the way across the rift, right? So, and it requires a channel, so you can't just like hop in them and, you know, someone else gets fucked because they can't chase you or whatever. So I wonder how long the channel is going to be. Actually, like I said, I haven't even played yet. So that'll be kind of interesting, but I think also too, especially if you look at the ones next to Baron and the one next to Drake, like they said, it is going to allow for more flanks, which is really interesting, in fact, right? Because if you think about it, like your blue team, and then you use that base gate or the Hextech gate, and you can send one of your guys right behind Drake Pit as the enemy is doing Drake. And so that's really going to fuck shit up. Same thing. I actually think, looking at it, that no, I guess they're both going to be pretty good for both teams. Like, say if you're a red team and you're doing Baron, you can hold one dude next to, you know, that base gate. And so if anyone tries to go through that, they could get completely fucked. And then if they don't go through it and they just try and run up to you directly, you can use that guy to go through the base gate and then flank them and pincer them, right? So like either or, it actually works for both teams. So that'll kind of be interesting. One thing that one thing that I can't really foresee is how this is going to interact with top laners using their TP to do flanks later on. And the fact that I think there just might be less of a reason to use your TP to do such a flank. Or in fact, you could TP to a ward that is right next to the Hextech gate, to where now you could do like a fucking, you know, Houdini type shit and be like, oh, you thought I was going behind you, but really I'm going, you know, in front of you or some shit, right? So I don't know. I think that's going to be kind of interesting. I'm not entirely opposed to this, but I am opposed to the ones inside the base. I think that's stupid because all it's doing is it's accelerating the game, and also it's making it to where it's easier for people to contest for the for the objectives, right? Because now that means that you can get to the objective faster. So it means, you know, you get to the action faster, etc. So it's going to be harder for people to secure an objective without completely wiping the enemy team, because there's always going to be someone, you know, like say if there's 2 enemies or 3 enemies up, they're always going to be able to come back, you know, into the fight and contest that objective over and over again, right? So that's going to be pretty interesting. I don't like that aspect, actually. Cloud Drake buff wasn't getting a lot of love. We want to make it more powerful, but not powerful to warp the game. All right, so 12 ultimate ability haste to plus 3.5% out of combat move speed, plus 3.5% slow resistance. Okay, I'm fine with that. Yeah. Rift Scuttler. First Rift Scuttler will now have 35% reduced health, grants 80% reduced XP, and has been slightly reduced in size to match its lower value. Note, the 80% reduced XP does not impact the bonus XP granted by the Huntsman, which is your jungle starting item. Okay, so Rift Scuttler is just less important for the first one. So now junglers won't fucking flip out if you don't go to the Rift Scuttle, I guess. It's kind of interesting. New items. Okay, here we go. Crown of the Shattered Queen. Mages have often felt at the mercy of their bursty foes, with little else to do but hide on the far side of team fights or hope their stopwatch is enough to survive. This new mythic lets them sacrifice some early damage for the chance to live longer, especially in the early game when a completed Zonias may not be a good option. Okay, so it's 2,800 gold, Lost Chapter, Kindle Gem, Amplifying Tome, plus 265. Okay, build path's pretty good. 70 ability power, 250 health, 600 mana, 20 haste, safeguard. You are safeguarded, reducing incoming champion damage by 75%. Safeguard persists for 1.5 seconds after taking champion damage. Okay. So, yeah, it's just a fight against front load. 40-second cooldown, restarts upon taking damage from an enemy champion. Poise when safeguard, and for 3 seconds after it's broken, gain 10 to 40 based on your champion's level, ability power. Well, safeguarded, and for 3 seconds after it's broken. Okay, so you just have more ability power while your passive is up, and slightly after. So if someone like tries to poke you for a little bit and, you know, do something cheeky, then you could retaliate with, you know, still doing a lot of ability power damage. Grants all other legendary items 1% move speed and 8 ability power. So it's a new mythic. Huh. Okay. It's pretty good. Yeah, I would say. 1% move speed and 8 ability power. That's actually really fucking good. This might actually be the next OP item. Yeah. I wonder if you pair this with a Banshee's Veil, that essentially you're gonna be indestructible, right? Because like it's not gonna get rid of your safeguard, so that means you're gonna have your 40 ability power in the late game, 40 extra ability power in the late game. It's gonna be so hard to take that off. So you're gonna have 110 ability power from it. You're gonna have move speed, so you could dodge shit all the time. Yeah, that's gonna be insane. Yeah, sounds like a really fucking good item. Even Shroud. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's Even Shroud, not Even Shroud. Sounds cooler, right? Tanky supports felt pigeonholed into one mythic, Locket of the Iron Solar, which was a purely defensive tool. We're adding another mythic for those who want to focus more on engaging offensively instead of relying on Locket's anti-burst. 2,500 gold, Kindle Gem plus Iggies plus 300 gold, 200 health, 20 ability haste, 30 armor, 30 magic resist. After immobilizing champions or being immobilized, cause that target and all nearby enemies to repent, increasing the damage they take by 12% for 5 seconds. Huh. Wow. That's a really good item. Like, really good. Like, you could think of immediately, like, Momu. You could think of Malphite, fucking Maokai. Like, this item is pretty ridiculous. Yeah, this item is fucking bonkers. But it's supposed to be for supports. But I'm not sure if only just supports are gonna build that. I think you can see a lot of tank champions build that. Grants all other legendary items 5 armor and 5 magic resist. Yeah, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, that item's incredibly OP. So that's this is basically gonna eliminate enchanter supports. That's really. I mean, I think it's overtuned currently, just from the numbers. It looks very overtuned. If they bring the numbers down, I could actually see it still, being viable and not being OP. So, yeah, I think they'll tune those numbers down. But it, just from the outset, it looks pretty ridiculous, right? Axiom Arc. What the fuck, dude? It's so weird. I noticed that the word axiom has started to be more in like the English lexicon more and more recently. Like, even I think I did a video entitled Discover Your Axioms. And this was like, I want to say maybe 8 months ago or so. And I really hadn't heard the word that much. But after I did that video, I just keep hearing it more. I don't know. Like, they have a saying that if you put something out into the ether, right? Like, it, for some reason, there is like this human interconnected consciousness that everyone can like kind of tap into for some fucking reason. And so if you put something out there, more people will just end up having it on their brain, regardless of whether they watched your content, read your stuff, even, knew that it existed at all. It just seems like there's something out there. I don't know. It's fucking weird. It's a weird concept, but it's just weird when you run into shit like this. Prior to the Yomu's Ghostblade buffs in patch 11.17, there weren't many options for assassins to pick up ability haste. Axiom Arc is a new legendary item designed to be the ability haste pickup while also allowing ability focused assassins to snowball a lead. 3,000 gold. Serrated Dirk, Caulfield's Warhammer plus 800 gold. Attack damage 55, ability haste 25, lethality 10. Passive, whenever an enemy champion dies within 3 seconds after you've damaged him, refund 25% of your ultimate's total cooldown. Jesus. Wow. It's not going to work for Zed's passive, is it? Or Zed's ult, right? Because it takes longer than 3 seconds for someone to like die by Zed's combo. Whenever a champion dies within 3 seconds after you've damaged them. Oh no, I guess it would, right? Because like your Zed combo, like the ultimate damages them obviously. So you would get a refund. That's interesting. Yeah, 25%. It's pretty good. It's not a ton of lethality either, so I don't think it's gonna be like ridiculous, but it's a good like theory. I think it probably would need to be buffed a little bit, but no, I think it's kind of a cool item. Shadow Flame. Offensive options for mages have been quite narrow, especially for those who wanted legendary items to simply deal more damage. Shadow Flame should let you blow up your opponents and will be extra spicy against those who stop your damage with shields on shields on shields. 3,000 gold. Hextech Alternator plus needlessly large rod plus 700 gold. 100 ability power, 200 health. Cinder Bloom passive. Damage to champions benefits from 10 to 20 magic penetration based on the target's current health. maximum value at 1,000 or less health, minimum value at 2,500 or more health. Gains the maximum magic penetration if the target was recently affected by shields. Huh. It's kind of cool. It's just more, I guess, magic penetration in the game, which I think is quite necessary. The options for that are pretty fucking limited, right? So, and also the build path for magic penetration just sucks ass. So this should give a better way to actually access that. So I think that's a good item. Winter's Approach. Tanks who need mana can really struggle during teamfights as they slowly grind through their mana bars. Let the spell spamming commence. Thanks, Wild. I guess this is from Wild Rift. 2,600 gold. Tears of the Goddess, Kindle Gem, Ruby Crystal, 1,000 gold. So 400 health, 500 mana, 15. Ability Haste, Awe. Gain bonus health equal to 8% mana. Damn. Too bad we don't have Rod of the Ages in the game anymore. This would be super OP. Strike a target with an ability or auto attack to consume a charge and gain 3 bonus mana, double if the target is a champion. Grants a maximum of... Oh, well, this is just Tear of the Goddess passive. Yeah, okay. I can't really... I mean... I don't really know who would need this. Except like Amumu, maybe. Even then, as a tank, you kind of just suffer in the very beginning, anyways. As far as like your mana is concerned, so I don't see who this really helps. So I'm not sure that anyone's even gonna build this, right? And then it's gonna Tears of the Goddess transforms into Thimble Winter. Slowing or immobilizing an enemy champion consumes 3% of current mana and grants a shield for 3 seconds, absorbing 100 to 200 plus 5% current mana damage with a 8-second cooldown. Damn, that's actually pretty good. This shield is increased by 80% if more than one enemy is nearby. What? Dude, this... Alright, now that I read that... This sounds pretty fucking OP. You like, yeah, you could use this on like a Malphite. You could use this on a Cho'Gath. It's really about it. It's really only tanks that could use this, I think, heavily. Tank items, tank mythics sort of feel like reskins of each other right now, and the choices aren't very cool or satisfying, just a bunch of different ways to burn people. Yep. These updates should create more distinction while still giving you the durability you need to succeed. We also gave the tank mythic passive a bit more health so your stats progress better throughout the game. Tank legendaries had a different issue where the MR options felt really light aside from Spirit Visage. So we're heightening the fantasies of other choices like Force of Nature and Abyssal Mask. Good. I like the sound of that because Force of Nature was not really picked up. Abyssal Mask was not really picked up either. So yes, I like that. Bomby Cinder now also executes minions that would be killed by one more tick of Immolate. Not sure how that's going to work for wave manipulation. I guess that's okay. Yeah, because like they're saying, CSing, sometimes minions would steal the last hit. So it'll be more predictable ticks. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Frostfire Gauntlet. In order to differentiate the Immolate tank mythics, We've shifted some of Frostfire's power into its signature effect. The Snowbind AoE passive. This chunky hit should make chasing down and debilitating enemies much more satisfying. Yes, that's a good fucking change. It's a good change. Here we go. Basic attacks create a frost field for 1.5 seconds that deals 20 to 100 multiplied by 0.5% max health magic damage to all enemies in the area. Enemies that move across the field are slowed. Slow rate and cooldowns unchanged. Unchanged. So, okay. 1.5 seconds. That's longer, I think, than it was before. I want to say before it was 0.5 seconds. Probably around there. So, yeah, that's better. Cool. Turbo Chem Tank. Emulate requirement for jungle clear rather than an interesting passive. We've shifted the item's power into one big explosion. Okay. Refuel. Moving and dealing damage fills up the Chem Tank. Okay. At 100 sacks, your next basic attack deals 40 to 120, multiplied by 1% max health, 3% move speed. Magic damage to all nearby enemies increased by 25% against minions and 175 against jungle monsters. Okay, so it's a little like Scion passive, right? They got rid of Emulate and they gave a, let's see, empowers each of your other legendary items with 5 ability haste and 50 health. I don't know. That doesn't seem that good. It really doesn't. Yeah, it's pretty lackluster, actually. I still don't think it's going to be used because the importance of a tank is not to deal damage. It's to like get in there, right? It's to be able to be in the position to actually get in there. So if your mythic doesn't allow you to do that, or it doesn't give you like tanky resistances, then what the fuck is the point? Like there is no point to the item then. So yeah, item's still fucking trash. Sunfire Iggies. Let's see. Unchanged. Buff the armor by 5. Buff magic resist by 5. Mythic passive empowers each of your other legendary items with 5% slow resist, 5% tenacity, and 50 health. Okay, I mean, it's all right. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, but I like at this point, instead of Sunfire, I'd probably prefer Frostfire, to be fair. Because the AoE plus the guaranteed 1.5 slow is pretty fucking good. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, Sunfire, still a decent option. Abyssal Mask. Last season's Abyssal Mask was powerful for champions who could use its Immobilize effect, and pretty much those champs only. We've reshaped it to be more of a hybrid offense/defense tool that shines against magic damage comps or large team fights. It should also be an exciting choice for some AP bruisers and battle mages. Okay, so they're expanding, I guess, how you can use the item or what classes can use the item. So instead of Giant's Belt Negatron plus 900 gold, it's now Kindle Gem Spectre's Cowl and 650 gold. Way better build path. Way better. That was like the large problem with Abyssal Mask, in fact. Health goes to 450 instead of 400. New ability haste 10. Magic resist is 30. Okay. Curse nearby enemy champions reduce their magic resist by 5, plus 1% bonus health, max 20. For each cursed enemy, gain 7 magic resist. Huh. Yeah, I guess this is better overall, right? Because it's not limited by, just basically tanks, right? So yeah, this, I guess the expansion is good. The overall stats are okay. Maybe the cost is actually a little bit high, but the build path is better. So yeah, this could be like a, I don't know, like a third or fourth item, right? Like when you just need an all-arounder to, balance out your stats. So, and you need a little bit more magic resist, but not like a crazy amount. Force of Nature was meant to fill the void adaptive helm left behind. Oh, damn. Remember that item. But its value straddles between stacking resistances and movement speed. We've condensed and buffed its effects a bit. It should now be the go-to option when facing heavy magic damage comps or high DPS mages like Rise or Cassiopeia. Okay, sick. I like the idea. Magic resist bumps up to 70 from 60. Absorb. So take magic damage from enemy champions, grants a stack of Steadfast, max 6 for 5 seconds. Enemy immobilizing effects grant an additional 2 stacks. Okay, so you could bump it up rather fast. While it has 6 stacks of Steadfast, take 20% reduced magic damage and gain 10% increased move speed. What? Yes, this seems ridiculously fucking OP. Wow, Force of Nature is... Yeah, this item's gonna be fucking broken, just like it was back in the old days, boys. We back! We back! Maybe Singe is back, right? Fucking stacking Force of Nature and shit and being unkillable. All we just need now is the regen, right? Yeah, that item is it's too good. Yeah, this is just too good. Take 20% reduced magic damage. What the fuck, bro? So one thing that I'm wondering is enemy immobilizing effects grant an additional 2 stacks. So if I hit multiple champions with a mobilizing effect, like a Malphite ult, then I instantly gain all stacks. Is that how it's gonna work? I don't know. Just seems a little bit overkill. You know what I mean? Sounds like if you get this item, you will be unkillable. From like a mage perspective. So, yeah, that's insane. Really fucking good item. Really good item. Knight's Vow is unpopular, despite being powerful all year. We've returned the ally heal, so that pledge feels more like a mutual partnership rather than a selfless sacrifice. We've also sharpened the damage reduction to work better against burst damage and remove the movement speed boost. Okay, I like that idea, actually. All right, so base health regen was cut in half to 150%. Let's see. While your worthy ally is nearby, redirect 10% of damage they take to you and heal for 8% of the damage they deal to champions. If they have less than 30% health, redirect 20% of damage they take to you instead. Yeah, that's actually better. Yeah, the increased yeah, it's the, so you take more increased damage the lower health that your ally gets. It's actually pretty cool. That's really good. That will actually make the item worth getting. Yeah, especially as they're saying, like in burst situations too. You can also think that maybe with like lifesteal situations, that's gonna get really fucking tricky. In terms of like an ADC just life stealing their way back to full health, because their tank support is taking all the damage, especially after you consider the fucking, the new tank item with Evan Shroud, right? Yeah. That's gonna be a little ridiculous there. So watch out for that combo. Iggies is getting a reduced price by 100 gold. Gargoyle by 100 gold. Locket of Iron by... Oh. It's combined costs. So at the very end, it's getting a price increase, I guess. But total cost unchanged. Okay. All right. Mage items. Choices have been pretty limited this season, especially for AP bruisers and some battle mages. We're making a few options less generic, but otherwise opening up items to appeal to all AP users. Everfrost. We want to offer a cheap tier of mythics for AP mana users who don't need luxury damage options right away, so we're bringing Everfrost price down to match the new mage mythic, Crown of the Shattered Queen. This way, mana users can opt into cheaper items if they need an earlier spike. Okay, I like the sound of that. Kindle, Lost Chapter, Amplifying Tome, 265 gold, 70 AP. What else? Grants all other legendary items 10 ability power instead of 15. Okay, yeah. I see no wrong in this. It's 400 gold cheaper. It's got a nice build path, really nice build path, in fact. For people that are utility based, they can get into that faster. Also, too, because often if a mage is utility based in some aspect, that means that they're probably also roaming. And so you're able to unlock your roams even quicker and use that utility even quicker. So this is actually going to be a big spike for utility mages that actually build this. So you could think of like TF, for instance. If TF builds this, that's going to be pretty gangster. You could think of Rise when he, goes across the fucking map. He could use this as well too. So yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous. I think that might actually change the fucking game for mid lane mages. And like what's like tier 1, Demonic Embrace should be a core item for AP bruisers, battle mages, and tanks who want more damage. It wasn't fulfilling that role very well, so we're removing its stacking resistances, boosting it for melees, and giving it a new passive that will make those tank AP builds shine. So it's up to... oh, no, it's down to 60 AP. But it's up to 450 health. Dealing ability damage burns enemies for 2% for melee, 1.2% for range, max health. No longer grants bonus resist while enemies burn. Dark Pact is its passive. Gain 2% of your bonus health as ability power. Still think this item's fucking useless. Like, can you guys really think of any AP bruiser that builds pretty heavy health that needs to also take down a tank at the same time? I can't really... That's such a niche type of thing, and like we're thinking like pro play aspect here, right? Because that's all I really fucking care about. So yeah, no, I don't see much use case for that. I still think it's a shit item. Archangels, they want it to be used for battle mages and bruiser playstyles. Tear of the Goddess, Kindle Gem, and Blasting Wand plus 950 gold. Way better build path. Way fucking better. For 5 less ability power. It's really good. 200 health. Gain ability haste equal to 0.5% bonus mana. Ooh. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Yeah, I don't know about that. This, okay, with Seraph's Embrace, it goes up to 80 ability power, 250 health, gain ability haste equal to 1.3% bonus mana, and then the passive, restore health equal to 40% of mana spent up to 25 to 50 plus 10% ability power per cast. Wow. So essentially, this is going to make Rise OP, because he's just going to machine gun his way back to health. What? Cassiopeia is going to be OP. Any machine gun mage is going to be fucking ridiculously OP. Like, this is essentially giving lifesteal to machine gun mages. That's stupid. What? No. Oh, no way. No way. Yeah, okay. That's gonna break. This is gonna break Rise and Cassiopeia already. Like that. Yeah, that's insane. It's especially gonna break Rise for sure, because Rise is like more in your face and shit. Versus Cassiopeia is like more tick based, right? So yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit OP. Cosmic Drive. Let's see. Fiendish Codex, Aether West, Ruby Crystal, 850 gold. Okay. 75 ability power, 250 health, 30 ability haste, 5% move speed. Damaging a champion with 3 separate attacks or spells grants 20% move speed, decaying to 10%, and 40 ability power until leaving combat. So it's worse. Yeah. Yeah, so this item is just worse. Yeah, because if you look at it, like, it used to grant 20% or 20 bonus move speed, right? Versus now, it's like you have to build up and it grants you 20% move speed and 40 ability power. Yeah, I mean, I guess you change the ability haste for ability power, which is kind of cool. And yeah, like as they're saying, you do get this portion online more of the move speed versus the 180 ability power, gain 20 ability haste. And the reason why no one got Cosmic Drive in the beginning anyways is because it's first of all, the gold price at the upfront cost is quite a lot, but also too, it's just not something that you're going to be able to activate until later on, until you get more items. So why would you ever build this item first? And then since you would never build this item first and you would build it later, it's like, well, why would I build it later either when there are just better items to build later? You know, so it just never really fit in the build path. So I guess this is a way for them to make it fit in the build path, but still don't think that's enough. I don't. Yeah. I don't see. I guess until leaving combat, that's kind of a good thing. So yeah, I don't know. Might actually turn out to be pretty good now that I think about it. Then I'm reflecting on it more. Yeah, could be a super big spike for people that. Essentially, what this is it is Conquer. Yeah, it's Conquer in an item for mages. It's kind of absurd when you think about it, right? So, yeah, I think that's actually Now that I think about it, yeah, it's actually really good. Conquer with move speed. Like, just think about that. It's insane. So, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think a lot of people are not going to realize that until a little bit later. So, just remember I said it here. Rising Focus was a pretty niche glass cannon item that essentially gave long-range mages a lot of bonus damage. We're broadening its use case so that more champs feel happy picking it up. So it's built by Hextech Alternator, Fiendish Codex, plus 150 gold. Okay, so there's less barrier to entry. 85 AP, so it went down quite a bit. 150 health, 15 ability haste. Hyper Shot now also applies to slowed enemy champions. Okay, so it's just a better build path. That's really it. Yeah, don't think it's really going to be built that much anyways. Void Staff. Blah, blah, blah. General. Yeah, it's not a one-stop shop. Okay, it's fine. Blight Jewel plus Blasting Wand plus 800 gold. 65 ability power. 45% magic penetration. Okay, so they're like kind of buffing it. Yeah, they're buffing it. Yeah, interesting to see how this kind of plays out with other Magic Band item. Oh, Doran's Ring. Jesus Christ. Okay, they're changing this. We're adding an incentive to Doran's Ring for champions who want to get aggressive in lane. We still want champions to have access to mana in tough matchups, so we're keeping the base mana regen relatively high. Now there's just a bonus treat for dueling. What the fuck, dude? Okay, so they're just buffing it. What? This is a really big change. Whenever they change like the base items, the starting items, super big change. You guys remember the Doran shield change before? The Doran's blade change before? Super big. All right. Restore 0.75 mana every second. What? Damage an enemy champion increases this amount to 1.25 mana every second for 10 seconds. If you can't gain mana, restore 50% of the value as health instead. So it rewards you for being aggressive. Okay. So, wow. This is going to change a lot. Wow. So we might actually see this other Dark Seal. We might actually see Dark Seal more with pots for more defensive champions and Doran's Ring for people. Like it's like gonna be the swapped version. I think everyone's just gonna go with the other item. Yeah. I think everyone's just going to go with the other item. Yeah, I don't know about this. This is kind of a stupid idea. Dark Seal is... Yeah, I think Dark Seal is going to take over. I don't know. Restore mana, though. Let's look up Dark Seal, because I'm pretty sure... Gain 4 ability power for each glory stack. 15 ability power, 40 health. Oh, no, I guess not. I guess I was wrong. Okay. So then there's almost no reason to get a Dark Seal because this is just gonna reward you anyways. I don't know. Or defensive champions are now just gonna have to actually... Yeah, that's what it is. Defensive champions are mid laners are now going to have to run Corrupting Pot more often than you would be able to just do Doran's Reign plus 2 pots. So it's gonna change the meta to where Defensive champions are going to be forced to run Corrupting Pot versus previously it was just like, you did it if you really needed to, but otherwise you could get away in most matchups with just Doran's Ring plus 2 pots. So interesting. That's really going to shake shit up for sure. Which then means I think you're probably always going to want a winning matchup mid, which means this might actually dictate mid lane more than you think in terms of pro play, in terms of pick order, and the fact that mid laners are going to want last pick or counter pick. All right, Hextech Alternator. Many AP damage items, a bit too glass cannony. We're trading some of its AP for durability. Okay, so Amplifying Tome plus Ruby Crystal plus 215 gold. So 150 health exchange for 15 AP. Okay. Hextech Rocket Belt, Amplifying Tome, Hextech Alternator, Blasting Wand, 865. Not bad. All right, yeah. Just showing all this shit. All right. While assassins were strong, their mythics felt lackluster. Many assassins were opting into mythics like Core Drinker or Stridebreaker, and some rush legendaries like Yomu's before their mythic. We're not opposed to flexing into unique builds, but building a lethality mythic first was almost always the weaker option. We're reducing the gap between mythics and Yomu's for melee lethality users, while ranged lethality users should be relatively unaffected, aka VARs. Okay, so they lower the gold. Bonus AD on next basic attack against an enemy champion deals 75 plus 30% bonus AD. Okay. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. See, unchanged. For Eclipse, cooldown for melee champions reduced to 6 seconds. Okay. Prowlers Claw. All right. 900 gold instead of 1,000 for the completion. The dash deals 75 plus 30% bonus AD. Okay. Wow. That item's fucking gangster now. They bumped Yomu's up 100 gold. Okay. Still don't think this is big enough to get like lethality champions into the mix as far as pro play is concerned. So First Strike. Let's check out the rune, baby. All right, First Strike is a new inspiration keystone that gives you a huge damage and gold boost when you strike an enemy champion first, but nothing if they hit you first. It's been great for artillery champions and assassins during playtest. We're excited for you to experiment with it. You can read more details behind its design here. So basic attacks or abilities against an enemy champion within 0.25 seconds of entering champion combat grants 5 gold and First Strike for 3 seconds, causing you to deal 10% extra damage against champions and grant 100%, 70 for ranged champions, a bonus damage dealt as gold. 25 to 15 second cooldown. So I can immediately think of Annie. Basically what you would do with Annie is you would get your basic attack off first before the enemy champion, and then you would go all in after that with your burst and Tibbers and deal an extra 10% damage against them and completely fucking crush them. But, oh, wait, no, this is an inspiration. Okay. Annie support then, baby. Like, yeah, Annie support. Or you even think of Zyra. You could also do that. Yeah, this kind of just helps for long range mage supports. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, that's the primary use case. They removed Omnistone. Yep. No one used it anyways. Yep. Okay. Glacial Augment. Some champions were using Glacial Augment to CC enemies before casting skill shots to guarantee a wombo combo, which, though clever, wasn't the intended design. So, mobilizing an enemy champion will cause 3 glacial rays to emanate from them towards you and other nearby champions, creating frozen lines for a few seconds that slow enemies for 35%, plus 5% per 10% heal and shield power, plus 2% per 100 AP or 100 AD, and reduce their damage by 15% against your allies, not including yourself. The frozen lines last for 3, multiplied by 100% of the final duration of mobilizing effect, seconds. Huh. Wow, that actually seems pretty good for, like, I don't know, if yeah, I guess if you want to do something a little wonky with, like, supports, as far as, like, immobilizing supports, or I'm not sure how this is gonna work out, really. Because this is more like an assist type. So I guess if you're gonna go full all in on assist type shit, then this is kind of cool. But that's like a mobilizing an enemy. So before, you saw like Glacial Augment Victor, for instance, but it's like you can't really run that anymore. So lethal tempo fell a little flat with marksman. Halo Blades offered burst, lethal tempo, delayed burst, attack speed, and press the attack, a delayed burst of damage. Lethal tempo stood out as the least popular of the bunch despite having a similar win rate. This meant it was either a more niche, less satisfying, or both. We're clarifying lethal tempo's identity as a best ramping option for long-term value and adding attack range to make it more unique. Whoa. Gain 15% for melee or 5% for range. Attack speed for 6 seconds when striking at least one enemy champion with each auto attack. This effect stacks up 6 times. While this effect is at its cap, also gain 50 for melee, 100 for range, attack range, and increase your attack speed, a cap from 2.5 to 10. Damn. Wow, that's fucking huge. 100 range? Yeah, that's really fucking good. Yeah, this is gonna make it to where people that already have a lot of range will just get more range. So, because normally you can risk running lethal tempo with champions like Caitlyn, for instance, or you could do that with a Tristana if you wanted to, although you would more often do, like, press the attack or something like that. So yeah, this is like a super late game scale, like, I'm gonna wreck your face later on. So yeah, no, I like the distinction. I think that's very cool. A lot of people weren't really using lethal tempo anyways. All right, shit. Nobody cares about. Heard something about Caitlyn's new shit. But okay. Jesus Christ. Based on initial results, since we originally disabled all chat in a few regions, we're continuing the disable where it's already in effect, but we're not adding additional regions. From here on out, will message any per region changes to impacting regions only unless we've got global updates to share. It's so ridiculous, right? Like, because you already had the thing to where you could disable all chat anyways. And so, like, if you didn't ever want to hear all chat, you never had to hear all chat. And for those that wanted to hear it, they could hear it if they wanted to. So essentially what they're saying was, or now, is that we allowed you to opt into a bad experience. That's essentially what they're saying. A bad experience that we know that you don't want for a fact. So, you know what? We're just not going to allow you to actually have that. We're not going to allow you to be an adult, which is like completely absurd when you think about it. So, I don't fucking agree with that shit, but whatever. All right, yeah, and that's it. So, yeah, I'm excited for the Drake changes. I think that's pretty insane. These tank items are pretty fucking good, but I am not excited for these catch-up mechanics. I think it's pretty bullshit. I think they're going to have a really tough time managing all of that. And if they don't take it out the game, basically, then what they're saying is that they just want more upsets for the sake of having upsets, which, knowing Riot, they might actually just keep in there for the sake of that itself and then not admit that it was a bad idea anyways. But yeah, overall, I think these are some very big changes, especially for, in regards to pro play. And I just think with the catch-up mechanics itself, it's going to completely change the entire meta. It's very bad, and if there is anything that Riot walks back on, this could be one of the things that they do. But yeah, knowing Riot, probably not. So I'm not very excited for these changes at all in terms of pro play and also solo queue too. I just think that has no place in solo queue either.